hot object, it is known as heat. Now heat can be in the form of any energy, like heat from the sunlight is known as solar energy. Then we have thermal energy for electricity is produced from the water from the dams. All this is thermal energy used for power production. Then we have mechanical energy, we use ovens, we use electrical energy. So there are many types of energy in our life. All these are one form of heat. So heat is a form of energy known as thermal energy. And this heat can be converted into any other form of energy, and any form of energy can be converted into this form of thermal energy. So that is about heat. Then what are the effects of the heat? Effects of the heat is the volume of the substance increases. You can heat gases, you can heat solid, you can heat liquid. What is the water made up of? Water is made up of many molecules. So when you heat the water, it comes to a boiling point. That means the distance between the molecules increases, and thereby the volume of the substance increases. So expansion can be solid, expansion can be liquid, or expansion can be of gaseous state. So taking the expansion of a railway track, examples of railway track, expansion in the railway tracks. Railway tracks are made up of iron, and if you have ever observed when traveling in the trains, between two tracks which are parallelly laid to each other, there will be some amount of space left between them, because in summer the iron expands to a larger amount. So to bear this expansion, there will be larger spaces left between two railway tracks made up of iron which are laid parallelly to each other in the railway stations. So this expansion of railway tracks, if they don't leave spaces between two iron rods, what happens? There will be chance of many accidents happening. So in summers, due to heavy heat temperatures, the iron expands. That is the reason there is space left between the two railway tracks, and railway tracks are always laid parallelly. And have you ever wondered why do we wear woolen clothes in winters, and why do we wear cotton clothes in summers? Woolen clothes always have air trapped between them. The woolen fibers trap air between them, and air is a poor conductor of heat. Thereby, the heat which is lost from our body is trapped with the help of woolen fibers. There is always heat emitted outside from our body. Our body always keeps on emitting heat outside the body. So when you wear woolen clothes, the heat will be trapped. The heat has the wool has the capacity of trapping heat inside it, or air, and then air is a poor conductor of heat, so it doesn't allow the body heat to go outside. Thereby it keeps our body warm. Whereas cotton clothes reflect the heat. They move away the heat from our body. They do not absorb the heat. They reflect the radiation or heat. Thereby the cotton clothes keep our body cool in summers. That is the reason we wear cotton clothes in summers, because they do not absorb the heat. Cotton clothes reflect the heat, and we wear light colored clothes in summer. We do not wear black colored clothes in summer, because the black colored clothes absorb heat. We only wear light colored clothes, because light colored clothes reflect heat in the summer, thereby keeping our body cool. So how do you know whether an object is hot or cold? If you touch an object, you can know whether it is hot or cold. Suppose take 3 glasses of water. In first glass you put extremely hot water. In second glass you put cold water, and in the third glass you put a mixture of a hot and cold water. In the first glass you have put extreme hot water. Extreme hot means do not make it so hot that you burn your finger, just make it hot so that you can bear that temperature. So in the first glass put extreme hot water. Put your right hand in that glass, and in the second glass put extreme cold water. Put your left hand in that glass. If you touch it, because of the sense of the touch, you can know the difference between hot and cold. You can feel the temperature because of the sense of your touch. Then in the third glass put a mixture of hot and cold water, and immediately remove your both hands and put in that. Does both of your hands feel the same temperature? No, because your hands have come, one hand has come from the extreme hot temperature and one hand has come from the extreme cold temperature. So there is difference between the two hands temperatures what you feel in the mixture of hot and cold water. Immediately if you put hands removed from hot and cold water, your both the hands feel different temperature. So always we cannot rely on the sense of touch. We need some devices for measuring. So hot and cold things are always measured with the help of thermometers. So to measure these measurement of touch, whether it is heat or cold, we cannot always rely on the sense of touch. We need some devices to measure the nature of the temperature, whether it is hot or whether it is cold. So this temperature is the reliable measure of hotness of an object. So temperature is the unit for measuring the hotness of an object. So this this is done with the help of a thermometer. Thermometer is an object used for measuring the temperature. So always the sense of touch is not reliable. We need to have some devices for measuring the temperature. So moving on to thermometers. So thermometers are usually of four types. They are clinical thermometer, digital thermometer, then you have laboratory thermometer and alcohol thermometers. Nowadays we use alcohol thermometers because they cannot measure temperature up to a higher degree. They have some limitations. We use clinical thermometer, we use digital thermometer, and we use laboratory thermometers. Clinical and digital thermometers are used for measuring temperatures of our human body. Whereas to measure temperatures of larger objects or larger substances, laboratory thermometer is used. So the clinical thermometer, what we see usually is like this. It has a mercury bulb here, it has a small kink here, so that kink doesn't allow the flow of mercury to the other parts of the thermometer. Then you will have some readings here. One level of readings is measured in degrees centigrade, one level of reading is measured in degrees Fahrenheit. In India, we always follow the degrees centigrade temperature, and the normal, there are two scales, one is degrees centigrade, one is Fahrenheit centigrade. This is a normal clinical thermometer. It is made up of glass, it has a mercury bulb here, and here there is a kink-like structure which doesn't allow mercury to fall on the back side of the thermometers. Then there are two scales of the thermometer. These two scales of the thermometer are degrees centigrade and degrees Fahrenheit. And what are the normal human body temperature? It always ranges from 35 degrees centigrade to 42 degrees centigrade. And in degrees Fahrenheit, it ranges from 95 to 108. Based on the average temperatures of many human beings, a certain normal range of temperature has been set. Then, how to read a thermometer? Thermometer always has bigger and smaller divisions. It has 5 divisions for every reading. These 5 divisions can be calculated as 0.2 degrees for every 1 division. This is it. Then the normal temperature to be taken by a human body in degrees centigrade is 37 degrees centigrade. And the normal temperature in degrees Fahrenheit will be 96.4. Slightly lower or slightly higher than this is also called as a normal temperature of the body. But extremely higher than this indicates a fever condition. Suppose if you have a fever, your parents will take a clinical thermometer and put it under your tongue or under your underarm to measure the degree of your body. That indicates how much degree high fever you have or low fever you have. That is indicated. And always while measuring with a clinical thermometer, some precautions need to be taken. You should handle the thermometer properly. Do not throw it on the ground. If you throw it on the ground, it will break because it is made up of glass. Then always you have to give the thermometer few jerks before using, so that the mercury level comes to normal, indicates at least 35 degrees centigrade. Then you have to wash the thermometer with an antiseptic solution before using it with two different persons. So these are some measurements precautions which you have to take while using a clinical thermometer. But there are some disadvantages also with this clinical thermometer. It may break if it falls down. Otherwise, sometimes the mercury may spill on the ground. It will be difficult to pick the mercury if it spills on the ground. So these days people are using digital thermometers for measuring fevers. These do not have mercury in them. So what are the normal temperatures of the body? It has 37 degrees centigrade. So the highest temperature of your body will go only up to 40 or 42. So that is the reason the thermometers will only have up to 40 or 42 degrees centigrade. And thermometers in range of Fahrenheit, your body temperature doesn't go up above 108 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is the reason the thermometer will have indication only up to 108 degrees Fahrenheit. So there is a kink-like structure here in the thermometer, so that this mercury doesn't spill into the other parts of the body of the thermometer. So always the thermometer has the measuring of temperature has some fixed points. 0 degrees centigrade indicates always the lowest fixed point. That means seawater freezes here, taking the temperature on a scale of 0 to 100. The temperature has 0 degrees centigrade has been set as the lower fixed point, LFC, and in this temperature the seawater freezes, and 100 degrees centigrade has been set as the higher fixed point where the seawater boils. So this is the standard temperature measurement for degrees centigrade. Moving on to degrees Fahrenheit. 32 degrees Fahrenheit has been set as the lower fixed point, and 212 degrees Fahrenheit has been set as the upper fixed point for measuring in Fahrenheit. Then Why do we use only mercury in this clinical thermometer? Because mercury doesn't melt. To melt the mercury, the temperature has to be -38, and for the mercury to get hardened, the temperature must be at least 320 degrees centigrade. So that is the reason mercury doesn't melt. So that is the reason mercury is used in clinical thermometers. One more measurement of objects is by laboratory thermometer. In human beings, we measure the temperature with the help of either clinical thermometer or digital thermometer. But bigger objects are measured with the help of laboratory thermometer. So laboratory thermometer is used to measure the temperature of other objects. And for measuring weather, we get weather reports, no? For that weather reports, we have something called maximum minimum thermometer. So this range of the laboratory thermometer ranges from -10 degrees centigrade to 110 degrees centigrade. So we can measure larger amounts and bigger objects. So there is one experiment to prove the measurement of water with the help of laboratory thermometer. There is one experiment to prove the measurement of water with the help of laboratory thermometer. Laboratory thermometer is a long structure with mercury in its tip, and the mercury is flowable from one part to another. Mercury is flowable from one part to the other part. So take a beaker, fill it with hot water, and then with the help of your 2 fingers hold the thermometer in this beaker. The tip of the thermometer should not touch the tip of the beaker. It should be in the air, somewhat above the beaker, the end of the beaker. The thermometer should not touch the end of the beaker. It should be somewhat up. There should be some space between the edge of the thermometer to the edge of the beaker. Suppose if you have added hot water, then you start noting the readings when the mercury in the thermometer becomes steady. Immediately after you immerse the laboratory thermometer in the hot water beaker, wait till the mercury reading becomes steady and note the reading. If you take the thermometer out of the beaker and note the reading, immediately the reading will change. So it is important that when you are immersing in a hot water beaker, you have to note the reading when it is in the beaker only and when the mercury levels become steady. Do not note the reading after removing out from the hot water beaker because the mercury is flowable and the temperature will change. So keep in mind and note the temperature when the mercury becomes steady and when the thermometer is in the beaker only, and repeat the experiment with different students. See whether you get same temperature or different temperatures, and then do the same experiment with the help of tap water. Same, add the thermometer in a tap water, beaker full of tap water. Do not touch the tip of the thermometer to the tip of the beaker. Maintain some distance in between them. With the help of hand, immerse the laboratory thermometer in the beaker full of tap water. Wait until the mercury level gets steady or becomes stable. Then note the temperature. So in that way you will know the temperatures of hot water and tap water with the help of laboratory thermometer. Different students can repeat the experiment and know the different temperatures and see whether the temperatures are same or the temperatures are different. Sometimes the temperature will differ from student to student in the tap water because of the external climate also. Then this is the method to measure with the help of a laboratory thermometer. Then nowadays we are using digital thermometers. Why? Because mercury is usually a toxic material. For measuring the temperature of the human beings, we are nowadays using digital thermometers because the mercury is a toxic material, and suppose if the mercury breaks, it may cause any Suppose if the mercury breaks, it may cause health hazards. That is the reason we are using digital thermometers nowadays. And when we are using a laboratory thermometer, you have to take some precautions. This will also break if it falls on the ground. And note the temperatures only when the mercury is steady, because the mercury is flowable from top to bottom. So you have to wait until the mercury is steady. Whereas in clinical thermometer, the mercury is not flowable. There is a kink-like structure in the thermometer to stop the flow of mercury at one level. So that is the difference here. Then moving on to the transfer of heat. Transfer of heat is the transfer of energy, different forms of thermal energy from one place to another place or from one object to another object. So transfer of energy is usually of 3 types. It occurs in the form of conduction, convection and radiation. So talking about conduction. Conduction is the transfer of heat only by touching. By touching the object you can transfer the heat, and this occurs only in the solid substances. Conduction occurs only in the solid substances. Convection occurs in liquids and gases, and radiation occurs everywhere except radiation occurs anywhere without any relationship to the medium. So conduction occurs only in the solids. That is, transfer of energy takes place from the warmer part to the colder part, or either ways also, from the colder part to the warmer part. Example of putting a gas stove, putting a utensil on the stove. You switch on the stove. First the lower part gets warm, then the heat is transferred to the other upper part of the utensil also. And nowadays, why do we use black colored utensils or copper coated bottom utensils? Because those darker colored substances absorb heat faster. Thereby you can minimize the usage of the gas energy. Why do we use utensils which are black in color or copper coated? Because those dark colored utensils absorb heat faster and get heated fast, thereby minimizing the use of gas. That is the reason we use darker colored or copper coated bottom utensils. Then when you put the utensil on the gas stove, the first part to be heated will be bottom part. Then the heat will be transferred to the other part of the utensil. And then when you switch off the gas stove and put the utensil down, then the utensil becomes colder. So that means that is the example of conduction. The heat will be transferred from the warmer part to the cooler part, and from the cooler part to the warmer part. You have understood? When you heat the utensil, from the bottom to the top the heat goes. When you switch off the gas stove, the utensil cools down. It transfers heat to the surroundings. So that is the example of conduction. One more example what you can take is, take two bricks, put a rod here, iron rod, and then attach small pieces of wax to it, and then to the edge of it light a candle and put it. So as this candle heats the iron rod, the wax present from this part starts melting. The wax present in this part starts melting first, and the wax present in this part starts melting last. That means there is transfer of heat from a warmer place to a colder place. This part gets heated up first, and then this part gets heated up last. So there is a transfer of energy with the help of the heat from the candle from a warmer part to a colder part. This part of the wax starts melting first, and gradually it increases to this part. So this is an example for conduction. So there are some substances around us which are conductors and which are insulators. What do you understand by conductors? Conductors are substances which allow electricity to pass through them, and insulators are substances which do not allow electricity to pass through them. Taking the example of this board, this pointer, these do not allow electricity to pass through them. Chalk piece, blackboard, wood, your bench, all these do not allow electricity to pass through them, whereas all those are known as insulators. And taking some examples of conductors, your metal scale, metal pins, all these allow the safety pins, all these allow the electricity to pass through them. Those are the examples of conductors. So now you have understood what are conductors and what are insulators, and you can take the examples of things around you and decide whether they are conductors or whether they are insulators. So this is about conduction. Now we will read about convection.